Work hard for what you want in life.
You work hard for what you want in life.
That your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
That your word is your bond, and you do what you say.
That you treat people with dignity and respect.
That you treat people with respect.
Reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard.
The strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
Work hard.
Work hard.
Work hard. Work hard. Work hard. Work hard. Work hard.
Hey guys, I'm Tatum.
And it's your girl Milan.
And welcome to episode 47 of the Black Girl Boss Podcast. Woo, woo, woo. Woo. So when it comes to like the show, I guess the numbers and all of that, we're going to be all off since we decided to skip a whole episode number. So I got to like continuously remember that it's not really 47 episodes. It's 46 episodes. We just skipped 45.
Absolutely. It is.
I need to make a sticky note.
I guess we did skip it, but you can't skip something that we never recognized in the first place, so.
Facts.
So did we really skip it, or did we just do what society feels best?
You're right. Okay. So today, you guys, we are going to be talking about, well, before we get into today's topic, we definitely have a little Black Girl Boss news. And I just want you guys that's listening to know it's really hard to find Black Girl Boss news. So I know, like, on our Instagram, if we are scrolling and find something, sometimes we'll screenshot it and post it, like when Aisha Curry and Issa Rae were named cover girls and stuff like that, or when all these fabulous Black women are in the C-suite of these big organizations, we screenshot them. But when we aren't necessarily scrolling on Instagram, it's hard to find them. So a little homework for y'all. As y'all come across, like, Black women doing amazing things, definitely send them to us. Now, there's a caveat to this. Don't just be sending that stuff to promote yourself. That's not what this is for. So send us somebody else that's doing amazing things so that we can shout them out and spread a little more Black girl magic on the world. So today what we did find, though, was Tiffany Haddish is the first Black woman to host Saturday Night Live. Is that right?
Yep, the first Black woman comedian to host Saturday Night Live.
That really hasn't happened before?
No,
Really?
apparently not. So maybe they're not saying she's the first Black woman, but she's the first Black woman comedian.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's what it is. But you would think that, but it's a comedy show.
Very true. You have Monique, you have Liddell, you got a lot of people that could have. Yeah, that's crazy that she's the first one to ever do that. And there's so many Black women comedians who are way older than her who have been doing this way longer.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird that hasn't happened yet. But nevertheless, shout out to her. I love her. Not only is she hilarious, but like her story. I watched her Breakfast Club interview and a while ago, and like her story is just, you would never guess for her to be so positive and so funny and so energetic. Like, she talks about stuff like foster care and abuse, like anything that you can think of bad that can happen in somebody's life has happened in her life. And it's just such a crazy story, but it's amazing to kind of see where she is. And I think she has a book that talks about her life story. I think it's called it has a unicorn in it. I don't know the name of it. I'm going to Google it real quick while we're talking. But, yeah, she has a great story. So shout out to her.
Yes, girl. You went from talking about booty hoes to now hosting the Saturday Night Live.
Oh, my gosh. The book is called The Last Black Unicorn. So if you guys want to check it out, definitely look up that book. She has such a great story. So for today's episode, though, I want to talk about, well, we came up with this before recording, talking about, like, red flags when it comes to clients. So for you guys who are in a service-based business, figuring out, like, what are those red flags? Who are those people I should work with? Who are those people I should not work with in my business? Because when you're in a service-based business, I mean, you want to sign clients. That's how you make money, right? You want to have these clients. You want to have this full roster. You want to have these full programs, but everybody isn't going to be a good client. Like, you have to make sure that the people that you bring on as clients are going to be success stories for you, because, again, the best form of advertising or marketing or advertising is word of mouth. So you want to make sure that the people that are able to speak about your business are the right people, and more importantly, that you're able to provide the right service for them. And everybody is not supposed to be your client. So we really wanted to talk about, like, some red flags based off of our experiences. So you guys who are starting these service-based businesses or currently in service-based businesses can start taking heed to. So, Milan, what are some red flags that you've seen?
Some red flags I've seen, one that I've seen recently was basically me sending the potential client reached out to me asking, to speak, wanted to know more about my services, things along that line in his email. So I did my normal process, what I do, sending back, thank you for contacting us, X, Y, and Z. We would love to speak with you further. Please schedule your free 30-minute discovery call via this, that, and the third. And I provide the link, and, I say not whatever, of course, but whatever is the time available and the dates that are available is the time that I have free on my calendar so that we can speak, Please schedule accordingly, whatever verbiage is definitely more professional than that, clearly. But whatever verbiage is in there, that's what I send back saying. It's very clear and concise on what you need to do. Point blank period. That's what I'm getting at. It's very clear and concise where you can't miss it. Like, if you missed it, you didn't read it. So, that happened. Then the person responded back to me telling me, like, hey, they acknowledged the fact that they looked at the schedule. So they clicked on the link, they seen when I was available, what days I was available. But then they proceeded to tell me when they were free, and it was after work hours at 9 p.m. So right there was a red flag for me, because if I allowed that client or that potential client to speak to me at 9 p.m., that's setting the tone. They would now think, okay, we had to conversation at 9 p.m. I can call at 9 p.m. any other time. It doesn't matter what her schedule says. It doesn't matter what she has. So I had to respond back to them, and I'm like, hey, 9 p.m. does not work for me. These are after hours for me. 7 p.m. is my last meeting. If you thought anything after 7 p.m., you'll have to be picked up in the next workday. So please revisit the schedule, revisit your schedule, and see if we can work out anything that best accommodates your schedule and mine for another day of the week. So that person emails back, and I think, let me see, actually, while we're talking about it, because I think that they said that 9 p.m. on Monday was their only time. And I want to make that very, very clear, because I have a point with that. Let me see. Give me 2 seconds.
But who wants to have a call at 9 p.m.? Like, that's a call that you might make an exception for like a client, somebody that's already on your roster. But having like a introductory call at 9 p.m., oh no.
Yeah, and for a client, that client has to be, in your crisis management. It has to be an emergency for you to accept that, like, honestly and truly. If they say, hey, got a question about my social media, you might propose that tomorrow. It's 9 o'clock. Like, things like, you got to get over that. But, yeah, Monday, whatever, 9 p.m., the best time for me that works is what they said. So then they sent back after I said that about, revisiting the schedule and my times and stuff. They say, yeah, Y-E-A-H, like we're having a conversation. Yeah, 11 a.m., whatever date works. And it's the same day, though. It's the same day, just different time. Why did you present that time first? Why didn't you want to? What was so bad about that time that you thought that after hours at 9 o'clock was okay to talk? If you already, and keep in mind, 11 a.m. and 9 p.m. are not best friends. They're not neighbors. They're not close. So how in the hell did you jump from 9 p.m. to 11 a.m.? You was closer to 11 a.m. the next day than you was earlier in that day. So you might as well just sit on a Wednesday. Like, what? It confused the hell out of me. And then another red flag that was in that email, where was it? Wait. Is this it right here? Hey, Milan, just reaching out through THRU.
No. Was this a man?
Yes.
I was like, this just sounds like a guy wrote this stuff.
Yes, through. THRU, through. Well, I'm through with this. Since we through. So that was like a really, really big red flag for me with that. And if I can like kind of jump off, not really the topic because it's still the same thing, that's even for it goes back to the last episode, interns.
Mm-hmm.
Certain red flags arise about interns. If I ask you to submit something, so let's say it's Wednesday. Let's say I tell you to submit something Friday. You hit me up on Friday 2 hours after you were supposed to have it submitted and say, oh, the Wi-Fi was down, X, Y, and Z. It's been down for the last week or so. I wasn't able to get the email and see it.
The last week or so?
Yes.
So you had a week to figure out other plans.
Whether you had a week to figure out a plan, whether you had 3 days to figure out a plan, why would you wait until the day is due 2 hours after? And you didn't even come to me. I came to you.
Mm-hmm.
Red flag.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to submit your application, ladies, when you apply for a job, you do not have the option to submit your resume, not your resume, your application, and it has cover letter and resume right there to submit and think your application is going to be complete, right or wrong.
Say that one more time.
You're not going to be able, like when you apply for a job, you're supposed to submit your resume and cover letter. Why would you think, one, that that's a complete application? It's not.
What didn't they have?
Their resume and cover letter. They didn't submit it. Then came back and said, oh, well, I know the official deadline for the internship is not until X, Y, and Z day. So can I please submit it? But here's the gag. Y'all ready for the whole red flag and gag? When you submit an application, your application is considered submitted and incomplete.
Yeah.
At that time of submission, you're saying, hey, I'm done. Here's all my stuff. It's no submit the application and then send your resume and cover letter in a week later.
That's just not even, like, that doesn't even make sense, though. Like, why would you fill out the application without having the other stuff? Why do a task twice when you could just do it once? I don't understand.
But you can just do it once. But then that's a red flag of how they're going to operate. I say all this to say all these are red flags of how a person is going to operate, conduct business, carry themselves, and it's a reflection of you if you accept it. And I'm done. But I just had to provide 3 different examples because all of them are red flags of a reflection of how somebody is going to be when they work with you.
So with the guy, though, with the through guy, what happened with that? Like, are you going to talk to him? Or are you going to tell him that you're not talking to him? Like, what's the next steps with that? What are you going to do about the red flag?
So he was a referral.
Okay.
And the referral is between myself and another business partner, and we together have a referral program. So I wanted to make her aware of it first. Because at the end of the day, it was her referral. You know, if I was to sign him, of course, you all know how referral programs work. So, hey, sis, we may not be getting this money together. This may not what is what's going to happen. So he submitted his. He finally did the right way after I had told him twice clearly, and he scheduled it for 11 a.m. So I'm going to read through his questionnaire, and then I can determine it based off of that, because he could really just be a little bit slow, and that could be an area I could tweak, and he could have a sound brand that he takes very seriously, but you have to check out all aspects. Like, granted, that first initial reaction put a bad taste in my mouth and gave me a very, very high red flag, but now I got to check everything else out. So if everything else is adding up to how you're acting in this email, it's a no-go. Canceling the discovery call, we're not doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, that might be the reason why he needs a publicist, because the email.
That's what I said. It could be something that you got to clean up. Like, it may not be that or anything. It could be that area right there that you need to clean up. But I don't really feel, not that I don't think that he's going to try to call me at, 9 o'clock and ask me to become the client, because now the tone is set. And then when we get on the phone, you have to just reiterate it. But how he conducts business and stuff like that is a conversation, a branding conversation that needs to be had. If I choose to, or if anybody else encounters this issue, so choose to deal with a person like that.
Yeah, I think that situation is kind of easier for you to continue to fill out. But for me, I would have told him the program is full and that would be that. I would have found a professional way to be like, nah, just because that would just show me that you would get into my program and I would be like, oh, you should do this. So we would have a whole call every month about what you should be doing and giving feedback. And then we would be basically talking about the same thing every month. And you would not get to your goal. And it's not my fault. It's your fault because you all over the place. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that would have been a no for me. But as a publicist, that's something, like you said, that you could clean up. I know for me with red flag, one, the application is the first determining factor on how the conversation is going to go. Because I ask like a bunch of stuff on the application for the discovery call. So if somebody says something, like I think one of the questions is something like a budget. I don't know. I know it's a budget question on there. I don't remember what it says, but if they be like, oh, I don't have a budget for that right now, oh, well, we don't even really need to talk. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to get on the phone for a discovery call because the point of a discovery call is to see if we are a good fit to work together. But if you don't have a budget for a coach, then we aren't a good fit to work together. So we might as well not even get on the phone. You might as well, tune into my freebies, stay on my email list for stuff that I send out that's free, this, that, and the other. Follow me on Instagram and tune into lives and things like that. But us talking for 30 minutes isn't really necessary. That's no shade. It's just making sure that it's the best use of both of our time, because my time is money and your time is money. So we want to make sure that if we're going to be on the phone for 30 minutes trying to decide if it's best for us to work together, it should be all the bases should be covered prior to us getting on the phone. Another red flag for me is when people miss their call. So sometimes I call people because I know it depends on what time. Somebody on my team normally sends out a confirmation email with their with the dial-in number for the call and, just instructions, et cetera. So I will check to see what time that went out. And if that went out within like a little later than it should have, then I'll just call them, just because I understand people might be at work. They may not They might be at work. They may not have checked their emails. They may not have gotten it, whatever. So if I call into the conference line and they're not there and I see that the confirmation email wasn't sent out timely enough, then I would just call them. But if it was sent out timely enough and I'm on the phone and they get a 5-minute grace period to show up for the call and they don't show up, that's like a major red flag, because that's telling me that you don't value my time. And you don't value yours either, because you scheduling stuff that you don't show up to. Like, that's just tacky to me. So that is a major red flag. And now I've gotten to the point where I'm not talking to anybody again without paying something. You're not going to waste my time twice. So the second discovery call after the one that you didn't show up for, you're going to have to pay for it. So at least I know I'm getting something out of even taking the time out of my schedule to talk to you again.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that, because, like you said, you're wasting your time. You could have been doing anything.
Yeah.
You could be doing anything. You have a life. And I think people, that's where being inconsiderate comes into play. You have a whole life. You have a boyfriend. You have a dog, a.k.a. a baby. You have food that you could be eating, baths that you could be taking. You have a whole lot of things. You got a lot of
sleep that I could be getting.
Sleep that you could be getting. Vocal cords you could be soothing with some hot tea. Hell, people don't know. But that's inconsiderate as hell. Like, you schedule this and we take 30 minutes out. 30 minutes is a long damn time. Let's be clear about that. You know how much stuff I can do in 30 minutes? A lot. And I sit there, listen to this corny-ass elevator music. And you don't show up. And you think that's fair. I'm sitting here wanting and willing to talk to you. Yes, you can benefit me in the end, because you'll definitely be funding me and pray. But think about what you're getting. You're getting what people fail to realize. And y'all can see I'm real tight right now about this. What I'm providing you and offering you, and the knowledge and experience that I'm giving you to make your brand grow, is so much more valuable, honestly, than money. Honestly. Because the amount that you're paying me with my expertise, you're going to make way more than what you even just paid me.
Mhm.
So really, yes, you're giving me my funding and my profit and my lovely, nails and hair and rent paid, but I'm giving you that 10 times more.
Mhm.
If you come to the call and we get along. But in order to do that, you got to come to the call. So at the end of the day, if you don't come to the call, I don't have my rent paid, I don't got my nails done, I don't got none of that. And you don't have anything either. So, it's just the reality, and it makes me so mad. So I'm glad you said that, because that was a red flag that triggered in my mind. Like, no. And you're right. It's happened one too many times. People see free, and they don't feel the obligation.
Right, exactly. And I'm not going to give you multiple opportunities to waste my time. I'm just not. And a lot of people in service-based businesses charge for discovery calls. A lot of people don't have free discovery calls for that same reason, because they feel like people aren't going to value their time if it's free. But me, I like to do things from a consumer perspective. So my discovery calls are always going to be free, just because I want people to be sure of, like, if they want to invest the time and money into hiring me to be their coach. So I'm never going to charge people for that. I feel like they should have every opportunity to be an educated consumer and know, and make the best decision for them. So I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to be like, oh, you got to pay me $50 to learn more about me. No, I don't like that, because I wouldn't pay nobody $50 to learn more about them. I would be like, you could take 30 minutes out your life to help me figure out if you're the best fit for me. You know what I'm saying? So I would never do that to my consumers. But at the same time, like, I would at least want for people to value my time the same way I value yours. And I even give people the benefit of the doubt enough to call them. If I see that, if I'll be like, okay, maybe they didn't get this confirmation email, so let me just call them. But if I call you and it's still a problem, or you still don't show up, or you don't answer, it's like, okay, now you're trying to play me. And that's cool, but you won't have another opportunity to do so. So that's just that. That's a red flag. And I'm appreciative of it, because I want to know that in the beginning. It's the same way, like, if you're dating somebody, I would want to know that you tried from day one. So I don't have to waste day 2, 3, or 30 with you. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a big red flag to me. Another red flag is when people don't know their goals. Now, it's okay when you're new in business, and I like to work with people who are new in business, and a lot of times you don't really know the specifics of the goal. But I want people to have, like, the idea of where they want to go, because a goal, like, what am I supposed to do if you don't know where you want to go? You know what I mean? Like, a question I always ask is, one of my programs is 6 months, the other one is 9 months. So I ask, like, okay, where do you want to see yourself 6 to 9 months from now? And I'm like, all I ask is just, like, paint the picture, because I'm good at you just laying it all on me, and I'll pick out the goals. Like, I can easily decode whatever it is you're saying to make it make sense. That's a gift of mine. So I'd be like, just give me the spill. What do you want life to look like 6 to 9 months from now? And as they're laying it out on me, I'm like, okay, perfect. That's good. But for people who be like, I don't know. I know I just want to be great, though. Oh, no. That's not going to work, because I'm a strategic person. I need to know a goal so that I can help you create a strategic plan of action, and we can work that plan over the time that we're together. But if we don't know where we're going, how are we going to get the directions? You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to work. So that's a red flag. Normally when people don't know their goals or know where they want to be 6 to 9 months from now, or it's super vague to the point where I don't feel comfortable taking that on, because I just don't. I want them to have a good experience with me, and I want them to be a success story of mine. So we have to make sure that we're the best fit for each other. So I normally won't work with people like that either.
Absolutely. I mean, ladies, you have to set a standard for yourself. And I think we say this all the time, but this episode makes it more apparent than ever. You have to set a standard for yourself, what you will and will not accept. Because once you put that out there that you accept it, how many people refer Tatum and I, they're going to refer you in that way. Because people ask questions about how much does she charge? How does she this? How does she do that? Oh, no, she's real cool. She's real neat. And then now they think that they can be your best friend. and that's how they're going to come. So if you set a tone and set a standard, you know, that's how it's always going to be. Like, somebody's probably going to tell about Tatum, no, she don't play about her business. Like, make sure you got all your stuff together, come correct, head is outlined, this X, Y, and Z, and that's good. It doesn't mean that Tatum's not approachable. It doesn't mean that she's a bid. You know, it doesn't mean none of that. It's a great tone. It means that she's serious, and you should, and people should respect that, because, I mean, if she's serious and this is how she's coming, that's the person I want to be next to. That's the person that I want to do with my brand. I don't want anybody that's going to be lackadaisical and all overly friendly and, oh, no, girl, you good. No, it's fine. No, I need somebody that's going to already check me.
Mhm.
Because you're already checking me. That means if I'm doing anything and my business is not kosher or anything that's not aligning to what my goal is and what we had envisioned, you need to nip that in the butt, and you're doing it early. So that's just my piece. You have to set that standard.
Exactly. And in addition to setting that standard, and one of the reasons why setting that standard is so important, because that sets the tone of everybody that you work with. You know, you are the example. If you're in the service-based business, you are the example. So you have to make sure that all of your ducks in a row. You have to make sure, you have to figure out what your core values are in your business and exercise that throughout everything that you do. One of my core values is I want my clients to be very happy with their service. You know, I don't want them to be like, oh, Tatum don't text back, or I sent her an email, I don't hear from her in 2 weeks, or she's not really that accessible. I don't want those type of complaints, or I thought I was going to get this, because the truth is people come to me and they'll be like, yeah, I worked with such and such before, and I love those conversations, because that tells me what you're not happy with, so I can make sure that you don't have that same experience with me. So I'm like, oh, well, what didn't you like about that? And a lot of times they're like, oh, it just wasn't what I expected. I'm like, well, what did you expect? Oh, I thought that I was going to see X, Y, Z in my business, but I didn't. I'm like, okay, well, what do you think? Like, what was stopping you from getting that? And they'll answer the question and give me insight on what they weren't happy with in other programs or working with other people. And It's like, I don't even understand how other coaches and consultants or whoever can even have that. Like, how can somebody be in your program and you not even know if their business was better when it left than when they came in? Like, I know you really can't control everything, but like, how can you even feel comfortable with that? Like, that would make me uncomfortable. I really do not want anybody to leave working with me and being like, yeah, she didn't do this, or she didn't do X, Y, Z. Like, I just can't. And that's why I have policies in place. Like, you're going to get a response from me within 24 to 48 business hours. You're going to get a response from me. I'm telling you in advance, Wednesdays are my off days. So Wednesdays I don't reply to texts and emails, but Tuesday night I reply to all of my emails. So you'll have stuff to do Wednesday. Thursday morning, I reply to all of my emails. So you won't even know for real that you missed a Wednesday of talking to me, because I make sure that I make my schedule to the point where you're the last person I reach out to on Wednesday night, and the first person on Tuesday night, and the first person I reach out to Wednesday morning. It's customer service, you know. But I know that that's a core value in my business. And one thing that I do is, in addition to like the monthly calls that I have with my clients, I like to have 2 extra calls. So the first call is like a kickoff meeting where we really iron out like the goals, how we're going to reach those goals, we prioritize what we're going to work with, et cetera. And one of my favorite things to ask in the beginning is, okay, what are your expectations? What do you want in a coach? Like, what do you dislike in a coach? So we can set them expectations from day one. And like I told y'all before, I have a feedback form on my monthly call form. Like, there are systems in place to make sure that the customer service or the service in general is where you want it to be. Because if you want to invest your time and money in me over a period of time, I want to make sure you're getting what you want. Now, of course, there's responsibility on your end, you know, to do certain things. However, I want to make sure me as the business owner, as the coach, as the person that you're working with, that I'm doing everything that I can to give you the service that I told you I was going to give you, the service that you came here for. But a lot of people don't have that, and that's why a lot of their clients come to me, because they don't have that. And so for you guys who are listening, who are service-based businesses, you have to really make sure you figure out what your core values are. Like, what is it? and have systems and things in place so that you can cover those bases with your clients, with the people that you work with, and know what the red flags are that will prevent you from being able to do that from in the beginning. So oh, they didn't show up for a discovery call, that's not my person. Or they don't know their goals, so that's not my person. Like, you got to have your ducks in a row so you know what to look out for.
Absolutely. I agree. Now, I think that a good shift of conversation maybe with the company you keep, like your friends, your relationships, your all of that. Those are red flags. Sometimes you got to get in the booth, too, because as you get more successful, things get real tricky. And I know we talked about that in Balance and Bays, Business and Besties, but I think it's more apparent. Like, as you talk about it, you say that then, but then when you see your success climbing and people want to know you. And that may sound so bad, but you know what I mean, T? Like, people really want to know you.
Yeah, they want to be all up in your business, personal, professional, everything.
People want to know.
Especially because, like, this podcast is kind of like an in into how we think and regular conversations that we would have anyway. So people do get to know us, or you guys do get to know us more intimately by listening to this show. But people, like, that not our listeners, but just like people in general, really want to be like your high school friends that see you growing up and they try to figure out what you're doing. They asking about you. You know, the people you went to college with where at one point you was just the other person in the classroom, now you popping and they trying to figure out what you do. So they asking about you, et cetera, trying to get all up in your life.
It's just too much. Like, you don't need those friends who know not your darkest, deepest secrets. That's not even that serious. But know that you're out here. Like, Tatum and I are really clatched. We're very classy, but it's like private classy stories that we could probably tell. But,
what is classy? What is classy?
Classy and ratchet.
Oh my God!
It's a mix of the two. We're classy, so y'all can take that note. Classy, and then when I say entrepreneur, and I had said something way back when that was something that I made up. But it's cool. I'm just gonna keep making stuff up as we continue. But yeah, like, we're really. We clash it, but you don't need your friends or somebody talking about you out in the streets and like, Milan, the publicist, this reminded me of how when she threw the Grey Goose bottle back in X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. They like, what? She act like that?
Not through the Grey Goose bottle.
But the reason why I say that is because my nail tech followed me on Instagram today, and I scrolled down her page, and she was throwing the whole Grey Goose bottle back in the club, and her caption said #drunk.
Wow.
And I looked at her like, I would have never guessed.
Wow.
I was like, you throwing Grey Goose bottles back? So, yeah, like, you don't want them out there talking, and then somebody overhears it.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't think she carried herself in that way, and I was really thinking about working with her. And not saying that this person doesn't respect Clatchit, but that may change their perception of you and thinking of how you do business. And now it's going to too many people. Now this person, and it's in a public place, so you never know. It's a difference between Tatum and I sitting there in the recording room and we say something and bring something up. Because one, I know who Tatum is. Tatum don't care that much. She's not going to tell anybody. And three, we're in a private setting of just us two. It's not out in the open for 10 people to hear. 20 people to hear, people who are unknown. And I'm not saying that these people are bad, but these people aren't mindful because they could be telling somebody who they know will not say anything. But you're telling that one person who may not say anything around people you never met who may say stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we've talked about, like, friendships and relationships and stuff from the perspective of, like, balance. But it is important to point it out how important it is as far as your brand goes. Like, we all know the saying, birds of a feather flock together. And it's not saying get rid of your new friends or whatever, but you just have to have a certain level of understanding of who you can and can't do things around. Like, I'm in a place right now where I told somebody, I'm like, my circle is closed. It has to be closed right now because of as I grow spiritually and the things God tells me about my future and where I'm going and things like that, and the responsibilities that I'm going to have to uphold in order to get these type of things, I can't be around everybody. And right now, because it's like, so Sarah Jakes Roberts had like a sermon recently that spoke to my soul, and it's about taking form. Just how like, and the way I identified with it is just, I'm past like a lot of the hurdles that I've gone through and all the things that I had to unbecome to become who the woman that I'm going to be. But I'm also still in a very vulnerable state where I'm not too far removed from where I used to be, but I'm also not too far removed from where I'm going. So while I'm in this vulnerable state, I have to be very cognizant of everything that I listen to, everything. I can't listen to the wrong thing that's going to have me unproductive. I can't listen to the thing that's putting negativity in my mind. I can't be around people who don't think big. Like, my circle has to be closed just because of the vulnerable position that I'm in. But for you guys who it may not be that serious for right now, it's still important to know who you're around. Like, one, I really don't go to the club. And if I do, I'm very particular of who I'm going with and the experience I'm going to have. One, I'm not going to nobody's club and not have a table. That whole standing in line and being in general population is just not my life. So that's not happening.
Y'all do not invite tables. You don't got a table.
Exactly. I need to be able to sit down and chill. Like, I'm not about to be up in there toes bleeding because I ain't got no way to sit because I only spent $10 to be there. No. So, one, I'm not going unless it's VIP. I'm definitely not going depending on the place. I told y'all before, Park is probably the only club in D.C. I'm going to ever go to, and I still have to have a table there. And so certain places I'm not going, and certain places I'm not going with certain people. So I know if I'm going out wherever, and if I turn up and I'm having a good time, I'm talking trash, like I'm having fun, because my personality is I'm a trash talker. Like, that's my sense of humor. And my sense of humor can be offensive to people sometimes because everybody can't necessarily take that. Like, I might crack a joke on you or something and you might take it to heart. You know, so I can't totally let loose around everybody. So when I'm going out and I know I'm drinking or I'm not, whether I'm drinking or not, or I'm having a good time, I might want to twerk a little something. You know, Bodak Yellow might come on. I might want to go off real quick. Like, I need to make sure that the people that's around me are people that's not going to be like, oh, take them over there singing every last word to Bodak Yellow. Dang, what's that song, that Cardi B song, No Limit? The little, me and get some money, that one. That is my song. Like, I know if that comes on and I want to twerk a little song and sing it because that is my song, that ain't nobody about to be looking at me crazy. You know, so the people that I go out with, my circle is so tight. The people that I go out with are my same friends from college, from high school, my cousins. Like, other than that, I'm not going out with nobody else because I'm not Tatum Tamia with them. I'm just Tatum. Like, I'm not the entrepreneur. We don't even talk about business. They may make a little, ooh, she got money jokes here and there, but other than that, like, that's not what we do. You know, so my circle has to be tight. And I know if I tell them something or if I do something that might be out of character or if I make a mistake or whatever, and I tell something like that to them, ain't nobody going to know about it. Like, my best friend who lives in L.A., he's not allowed to not be my best friend anymore because he could write a whole tell-all book on me. And vice versa. Y'all are going to see him publicly soon. I can't say, but y'all are going to see him nationally soon. So he know that I could write a whole tell-all book on him too because we both did some things in our life. But, like, you gotta have those people around you that you can trust with that type of information, not people that's going to be like, oh, or somebody be like, oh, I love the Black Girl Boss podcast. Did you listen to it? Oh, Tatum, girl, that ain't even her. Because when I seen her at Park and she was twerking on to Cardi B or whatever they want to come up with that's going to quote unquote to make you look bad or whatever. And it's not to say that we aren't real or we aren't genuine. It's just that we're human. We're not about to be these perfect, prissy business owners 24/7. That is boring. So we want to do some sophisticated things sometimes.
Yes, sophisticated.
And we need to know that everybody ain't going to know about it, or people are not going to be twisting the story and adding their 2 cents in to try to make us look bad because they're jealous or whatever. So it's definitely important, like I said, from a branding perspective, to know who you're around and be cognizant of who you are around and how you are when you're around them. I'm a naturally very observant person for that very reason. So if I'm out, I don't talk much when I meet new people. I ask questions because I like to feel them out, kind of get them to expose themselves some to see how they are before I determine what part of me they're going to get. They may get the super encouraging part. They may get the part, or I may just really not care and not give them anything, but some head nods and oh, dang, that's true. Like, they may not get anything, but you really have to feel people out to determine, like, if they're worth opening yourself up to or not. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely agree. You just have to use your better judgment.
Yeah. And then I also wanted to say, when it comes to opportunities, like red flags when it comes to opportunities, I know that when you're new in business, a lot of times you want to take all the clients. Like you said, you want to take all the opportunities. You feel like that's what you're supposed to do because you're still trying to get your name out there. You're still trying to do certain things. It feels unnatural in a sense to turn down an opportunity when you feel like you need it. But you have to do that sometimes because every opportunity is not the right opportunity. You know what I mean? So you have to pay attention to those red flags. So a perfect example of that is this week. I got an email like last week about an opportunity, and it was a working with the youth opportunity. So I was excited about that because y'all know this is something I love to do. So I was excited about that. It was a paid opportunity. It was a few $1,000s, so it wasn't like cheap either. So it would have been a nice check. What happened? So I sent in my information, and the lady called me, so she wanted to meet or whatever. So I had a meeting this week, and I went and met up with her, and it was red flag after red flag after red flag. First of all, so we set up a meeting. She sent a calendar invite, and she didn't tell me, like, instructions about, like, parking or anything like that. That's a small red flag because some people just really aren't that detailed. I'm just a super thorough person, so I would have done all of that. I don't really hold that against people because everybody's not like me, and that's fine. But that was kind of, like, annoying on my part because, one, it's in D.C. Most things are hard to find in D.C. because everything is on, like, it's a bunch of stuff next to each other. So it would be nice if you were to say, oh, I'm in between Starbucks and, I don't know, Chick-fil-A, so I could have some landmarks or something. So I was a little annoyed because it was hard to find the place. So I was like, okay, whatever. Not going to hold this against them. So then I get there, and the lady, she was nice. She was definitely nice. I could tell she wasn't really feeling, like, we weren't vibing. And the reason why we weren't vibing is because I'm sure she expected me to come in and be very, like, kind of how you are in a job interview where you want people, where you basically are trying to get the job, so you're appeasing them and you're selling yourself and all this other stuff. I don't go into meetings like that because I know my value. I know what I bring to the table. I know what I've been able to do. So my confidence is on a different level. And I'm not, and this isn't just something for you to try to see if you should hire me or you should give this role to me. I know you should give this role to me. My experience tells you should give this role to me. So I'm not really trying to sell myself on that. I'm trying to figure out if you're the right fit for me. Like, if me spending my time with your organization doing this is the right fit for me as well. So in that conversation, it was just like, this just isn't it. They were last minute. For one, so here are the major red flags. They were very last minute. I went in there on like a Tuesday. That program, the youth program, was starting this same Saturday. I'm like, so what? Like, you want me to start in a couple of days? Okay, no. First of all, no. But okay. So then that was the first red flag. Then I was like, okay, well, who's developing the curriculum for the student? Because I would be teaching if I was to take the role, I would be teaching entrepreneurship to the students for like a few week program or whatever.
Right.
So I'm like, who's developing the curriculum? Am I supposed to bring my curriculum in and do that? Because if I'm bringing my curriculum, that's an added compensation because I created it, you know? So anyway, so I asked that question, and she was like, well, we have something, but we want somebody to help tailor it or to help develop it. Okay, so you don't have anything concrete. Okay, so then you want me to not only start in a couple days, but help you develop a curriculum in a couple days? No. Okay. So then I was like, okay, so what is the time like then? So she told me the days of the week that the program was. I'm like, okay, well, how long is the program? So ideally the program is supposed to be 10 weeks, but because of like breaks and things like that, it's spanned over like 3 months. So 3 months, 1 day a week, she said for like 3 hours. So I was like, okay. So, but mind you, this was like Saturdays. So Saturdays for 3 hours. So then I was like, okay, so what is required outside of that? So because this is your organization, and in essence, I would be like an instructor or whatever you want to call me, a facilitator or whatever, what do you guys require on the back end to make sure that, you know, your stuff is right? Because I don't know anything. You know, what's the process? And I have a youth program, so I know that there's a process. So I'm asking her what the process is. So she's like, oh, well, then we have like bi-weekly meetings. Okay, so you want me to be here Saturdays for like 3 months for 3 hours starting this Saturday. So you telling me F everything I got going on, and you want me to add in like bi-weekly meetings, and you want me to help strengthen your curriculum? It's a no. These were like red flag after red flag after red flag. The lady couldn't, and some of the questions that I was asking, she couldn't even answer them for me. And then at one point she apologized and was like, somehow she just got back. I don't know what she just got back from, but she was saying she just got back. So excuse her if she didn't know the answers or whatever. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm reclaiming my time, and I will not. Like, I just won't. I don't care if it's a great bonus and boost in my income. Y'all are going to stress me out, and I'm not about to let you stress me out for a few $1,000s over the course of 3 months. It's not a few $1,000s a month. It's a few $1,000s over the course of 3-4 months. So in essence, it's a few $100s a month. So it's a no for me, sis. But just paying attention to those type of opportunities. I would love any opportunity to work with the youth. However, I have to be mindful that I run a business. You know what I mean? I'm growing a business. I have things going on. So I have to make sure, and I have my own youth program, so I do things with the youth on my own. So anything additionally that I'm adding onto my life, like, it has to be right. So for you guys that's listening, ask the right questions when you go into these opportunities, and understand who you are and your worth when you walk through the door. And as opposed to, because I know people who take opportunities, and it's like, or people that I know, they're like, yeah, I'm about to be doing such and such, but I kind of wish I didn't say yeah, because now, you know, X, Y, Z. And I'm like, well, why did you take the opportunity? Well, it seemed like the right thing at the time. I'm like, no, it's because you didn't think through before you walked in the door. You gotta know what's going on before you walk through the door. Ask the right questions when you get there, and don't make any rash decisions. Let them know that you're going to think about it, and then let them know what the decision is. So these are the things that we have to do so we can decode these red flags, so we can make great choices for our business and not just be giving our time and energy to things that aren't going to ultimately benefit us. So I just wanted to touch on real quick red flags with opportunities. Have you had any red flags when it comes to opportunities?
Not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet. As you were talking, I was thinking about it. Not yet. But I've had red flags with friends who are opportunists.
Oh, really?
When it comes to opportunities. So I guess it's kind of like the other way around. Just certain things, like if an event was coming up or something, and knowing I'm getting it for free, it's kind of like, we haven't, I'm not even going to say friends, acquaintances or whomever, will kind of hit you up and like, oh, hey, you know, how you doing? Are you going to that event this weekend? He's like, yeah, I'm getting in my client, whatever, I'm getting it for free. I was trying to go, this, that, and the third, but this happened, da-da-da. Is, y'all got an extra ticket, da-da-da. You come around when it's an opportunity that benefits you. So you're obviously like, you're that person that I know that's going to come around when things are popping and you're trying to be in the mix and in the know.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to tag along. You're that tag along friend. But if the other way around, me having, like, opportunities where we're red flags, I don't think I've had any yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, I did an opportunity. I did one. And then I spoke with colleagues, and they informed me of the background story of that particular thing that I did. And it was kind of like, whoa, like, I didn't see that coming. Like, if I would have known that beforehand, I would have never did the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Because
that's why you got to do them research.
Yeah, but see, that's not something that they put out there openly, and I'll tell you offline because I can't say it on here. But they didn't say it openly and knowingly what it was, so you wouldn't know unless they came to you. You wouldn't know to ask either.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like one of the things where, like, dang, you knew, so you could have came to me before, but it was already too late and everything else. I'm like, dang. So now I know for future opportunities I won't.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah, and I like that you brought up users because a lot of people, I don't think that a lot of people know that they're coming off as users. They may not be a user, but you don't know that you're coming off that way. And it's probably because you probably feel like, I'm just trying to, get ahead, or I'm trying to make connections, I'm trying to meet people. But a lot of times that comes off as being a user. And we've talked about this before. Like, you got to serve people before you ask them for stuff. Like, don't give me that courtesy call of seeing how I'm doing that comes before the call that you're asking me for something. You have to really serve people and show that you're of value. Like, it's people who reach out. Man, I've encountered this more than anything because of this podcast. Like, I'll meet somebody, and I'm the type of person, you meet me in person, and you'll listen to the show, and you'll then, based off of, like, my professional persona, like, you will be like, I didn't even know she did all of this. Because when I'm super duper humble, and when I meet you, I probably make it seem like everything I do is not really a big deal. I'm sure that's how I come off. Because I'm like, oh, hey, I'm Tatum. I'm a business coach. And they're like, oh, okay, this, that, and the other. Yeah, I have a podcast too, this, that, and the other. In conversation, but I'll never be like, I'm a part of the Black Girl Boss podcast. We have over 100-something thousand streams and 10. Like, I don't even do all of that. I'm probably the most chill person you will ever meet. So what happens is when I say podcast, and they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. What's the name of your podcast? I'm like, oh, it's the Black Girl Boss Podcast. Are you serious? So how do I get on the show? First of all, you can't.
I don't even know you.
Like, I get that all the freaking time. Or because I, like, respond to every single DM I get, I respond to all my emails. Like, I'm the most laid-back, down-to-earth, humble, will never not say thank you type of person. But people take advantage of that. So they'll be like, send me a message, hey, how do I get on the podcast? First of all, one thing I learned from this year about this podcast is I'm not talking to anybody on the show that I don't know. Just because I don't like it, just makes for a better conversation when you already know the person. And people really, they try to make it seem like this is a well, I tell them that this is a conversational show. This is not an interview to promote what you're doing, but they still try to promote what they're doing. And it gets on my nerves. And it's just like, to be honest, a lot of the conversations we've had in interviews, I don't really like them. So when I listen back to them, I'll be like, I don't even like this. And it's because I didn't know the person and because it wasn't like that natural conversation. So that's one thing. I really don't even want to talk to people on the show anymore that I don't know. Now, that does not mean try to get to know me so I can have you on the show. So, but people really do try to just be a user. How can I get on the podcast? Now I will never have you on the show just because I know that's what your motive is. I know that's why you're talking to me. I know that's why you're trying to connect with me. I know that's why you inviting me to stuff, because you just want me to be on the show. Like, that's not cool. When any relationship that I've built in business has 100% come from me serving them in some type of way. Like, I will be, and people who will be like, and it'll be to the point where I might want them to be on the podcast, But that's not going to be my first thing. I know the podcast is a good opportunity for them, so I'm sure if the first thing I say is I want to have you on the show, they will not mind. But at the same time, that's not what I'm about. So I'm going to help you at your events. I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to do certain things and not ask you for nothing. To the point where some people be like, well, when can I be on the show? Because they're like, why haven't you had me on the show yet? And I know that because they're of a certain caliber, they're like, why haven't you had me on the show? And I know that that's something I would want, but that's not how I operate. I'm a genuine person, so I want to make sure I serve people and they understand that I'm not a user. Or even when it comes to, like, your event, I was a panelist at the Entrepreneurs Brunch, but I came early and was like, all right, what we got to do? We got to set up food? All right, cool. Had my flats on, ready to give me some gloves, like, we'll set up food. Like, that's, you have to have that type of ready to work, and then I'll go talk later. Like, you know what I'm saying? But people don't have that service in them. Like, it gets on my nerves. Don't be users, guys. Please don't be users. Please. That's all I got.
Not get you far, and then your name won't be tossed around as a user.
Exactly. Like, oh, don't talk to her because she just this, that, and the other, or she just wants something. It's just a matter of time. Like, don't be a user.
She's not about it. She just about it when they come down to being about it and getting that opportunity. She's not about it for real. That's what they want to say. That's my kind of conversation. Real subliminal, but real straight to the point.
Exactly. And I'm really good at, I have great discernment, thank God. I have really great discernment when it comes to people. So I'm good for knowing, like, they just want something. I can tell by the way you're talking to me that you want something. I'm good.
Yeah. So. Absolutely. It's kind of like when your boyfriend in trouble and you say, so I really think it's funny how. So I was just wondering if that's the opportunity.
Or you trying to be super extra nice. I mean, I do that in my relationship. I'll be all nice. People like, what you want? So I saw these shoes.
But that's the point. He knows that you want something. He knows it's coming.
Exactly. Okay. All right, so I think that is it for the Red Flags episode, you guys. As usual, if you have any questions or any comments about the show, slide in our DM, comment on Instagram, all of that good stuff, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Wait, can I slide in the shameless plug?
Oh, yeah.
So the Women's Entrepreneur Brunch is just 4 months away, and if you do not know, we are in Atlanta, Georgia for the third year. Tatum triggered my memory when she sat on the panel for the brunch. I'm like, oh, the brunch, yes. So the brunch is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. Early bird tickets are on. Well, by the time you got to this episode, they'll be off. So sorry. However, I'm going to do a special sale, so look out for that. I'll probably do like a Black Friday sale. So just, if you didn't get the early bird tickets, I'm just telling you guys this. So if you're not listening to the podcast, you won't know this. So the Black Friday sale for tickets, so keep that in mind. But general admission does go on sale. On Monday, which is the day this episode will be out and you guys will hear, and VIP tickets also go on sale on Monday. And if you're not following the Entrepreneurs Brunch page, make sure you follow it because I'm releasing all of the panelists on there. I released one panelist yesterday. Well, yesterday meaning Thursday. Yesterday, Tara Gates Anderson. She is a celebrity interviewer and media correspondent and brand strategist, so she will be in the building as a panelist. And then the rest will be coming after Monday. I'm going to drop one today on Friday, one on Monday, and then I'm probably going to save my last panelist for Black Friday because I love this panelist. Like, she's my soror, so of course I had to save her for last. But all of them are great. It's so save the best for last. All of them are equally yoked. Love them. The panel's going to be great. The experience is going to be great. If you're VIP, you get bottles of mimosas. I think, Tim, did you tell me last year they had a bottle of mimosas?
No, I'm always the no alcohol person.
Right, Tim's a no-alcohol. I forgot who told me had bottle of mimosas. So I did it where the VIPs get the bottle of mimosas, and if you are under the age, we'll create you a special little version, cute drink, and you get a cute little takeaway glass with it, so you'll still get the same experience. You just won't get the feeling of alcohol. And I have a limit on what time the bottle of mimosas cut off. Not how many, but the time. So we won't be in there to turn like it's a whole day party or anything. So we will have a nice equal balance. So make sure you guys get your tickets. You can get them at Web, the letter W, like Charlotte's Web, E as in elephant, B as in boy, 2018.eventbrite.com. So, yeah. Or you can just come to my Instagram page and just click the link in my bio if that's easier.
Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, we will holler at you next week.
See ya.